Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at BTC. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. So I'm going to go over the bullish case that we were talking about in the previous video. So this is looking at the potential that we could have already completed this wave 2 here, and the fact that we're looking for that possibility of a direct breakout from this point. Now this is not the most likely scenario in my opinion, but it is one that I'm still tracking for as long as we actually hold this low of this 29,505. Now within this count, what we'd be arguing is that within this secondary structure here, we have this as a wave 1 as a diagonal, then looking for this as a wave 2. And as long as we actually hold this 29,500, this count does stay alive. And what we are looking for here is the potential that within this we had a flat as a wave 2. And what we are looking for is a third wave to the upside, looking for this target of this 32,852 level. So we're looking for the continuation up here, looking for this move to actually progress up in a nice 5-wave move. Now, if this is the case, we really wouldn't want to lose this low again here of this 29,705. I'd want to maintain this. Now, the reason why this is a lower degree confidence count here is that if we are looking at this as a diagonal, this could also just be A, B, C. Now, it is also possible that this could just be counted as a corrective move here. So this would be a W wave, this would be an X, this would be a Y. So we need to be just aware that there are a couple of ways of looking at this structure here at the moment. It is very choppy. What we want to hold is this low here, which would be this 29,713, and then we'd be looking for that potential of this continuation up. Like I said, confirmation would come by a move up above this 32,852, and then we'd need to see a fourth wave develop. But the problem is there isn't much space between this and our typical fourth wave area, so we'd have to see exactly how this plays out. If we do see something like this, we would not want to cross this wave 1 again once we push to the upside. Otherwise it becomes more likely that this move here is just a B wave, or this is A, B, and then we're still going to see a C wave down. So we're going to go over that possibility in a second. Now, just looking at this bullish case here, within this move over here, we can potentially count a diagonal again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 up into this high as a contracting wedge shaped pattern here. Now, if this is the case, effectively what we are looking for here is something like this, where this is our wave 1, we have this as A or W, we have this as W, this is X, and we're looking for a Y wave to the downside. So if this is the case, effectively what we're looking for is an A, B, C pattern here. So this 1-to-1 actually brings us back down into this 30K, and our typical support box region would be this 30,070 to this 29,858 as a possible target for this wave 2. Now, if we do manage to hold this level, what I would be looking for, particularly this higher level, has a lot more confluence, this 30,000 zone, because even if we measure this one off as a 1-to-1, we can see that that comes in here towards this 30,069 level. So this is basically the same as the 1-to-1 of the Y of the W wave here. So just keeping an eye on that. Now, what we need to see for this count to start validating itself is we need to see price first off hold this support box. Then we need to see price push up towards this 31,281 as a possible third wave. Then we need to see a fourth and a fifth. Now, the key thing here is that if we do get a 5-wave move up here, we need to just be careful, because this once again could just be part of a bigger B wave, where this is A, this is B, and then we see this as a C wave still to come. So this could become A, B, and then C, looking at this move as a flat correction. So need to be careful. If we do see a 5-wave move to the upside here, what we need for confirmation is support again in this zone of this 30,537 to this 30,037 level again. So we need to see a 5-wave move up, 3-wave move down, and then we need to see that continuation looking to take us out of this zone and get us a nice big impulsive move. I'm going to just measure that off just for a rough guideline of where this could be. Say we came back down to this golden pocket area, 33,314 would be a rough area. Obviously this is depending on how the waves actually form. So that's looking at this as a direct breakout. Now, we also talked about the possibility that this fifth wave could be over here, and we could be looking for this deeper correction, looking for this 26,699, which would be a very rare target. and then also looking for, you know, that possibility of looking for a deeper move here. So what I would ideally like to see is a move down to this 27,905 to this 26,084 level, and then looking for a push back to the upside. Now this 382 could also be quite interesting, this 28,693 as a possible support zone if we have this as A, B, and we're looking for that continuation down in a C wave. So we need to just be on the lookout for that possibility of that deeper retracement. So looking at that idea, now this idea is actually looking at the potential that this B wave is incomplete here. So if this B wave is incomplete, what we could actually have is that this could be our A wave, this could be our B wave, and we could get a C wave. Now it could also be this is a W, this is an X, and then we see a 3-wave move up here. What we'd be looking for would be this 32,202 to this 31,906 as a potential expanding flat target area for that B wave. That would be a very common zone, but we have also come up into this 1-to-1. So we need to just be careful because we can also potentially count this as W, X, and Y with just having a shorter Y wave here, in which case this means that we're looking for this C wave to the downside right now. So we need to be careful. If we do get this as a 5-wave move down here, potentially we could actually already be looking to move down. And what our target would be from this current level would actually be the 1-to-1 would actually be here at this 29,571. But then we'd be also looking as an expanding flat, typically for this lower range here of this 29,132 to this 28,434 region, with a rare target sitting down here towards this 26,687. So if we see something develop like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back down here into this channel, potentially this could actually be our C wave, and we could look for that possibility that could then mean we could see some upside come in from that point. But we just need to be very careful, because if we get a 5-wave move down from here, we just need to be on the lookout that this doesn't extend and we only get 3 waves up and then we see a deeper retracement. So we just need to be careful of that, though that would not really fit into any of these counts that we have at the moment. It would make more sense that if we get this 5-wave move down, we would see that reversal. But until we actually cross the B wave high, then we don't have confirmation that that move is completed. So still looking for that idea that this B wave could still be in play here. The time relationship with the A wave would be a little bit better if we had another move up here. So looking at this whole move here as a potential flat correction, where we have this as A, we have a flat in here for B, and then we're looking for that potential of a 5-wave move to the upside. So this 1-to-1 would actually be here at this 31,602. Now this is why I'm saying that even if we do get this 5-wave move to the upside, this white one we were talking about, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could actually look to just come back up here, sweep these highs, and then look to continue back to the downside. So we need to just be careful that even if we do get a 5-wave move up here, potentially we could see price move up towards this 1-to-1, which would be here at this 31,602. But then we also do have this 1,236, which would be a little bit higher here, which would actually look to sweep these swing highs that we've got here at this 31,765. So going to be keeping an eye on that. If we do see price look to move up into this region, could look to sweep these before that continuation to the downside. So that would be looking at this as still having a B wave in play here. I wouldn't like to see us go down below this level of this 29,500 if this is actually the case, because if we do start to break down again here, it becomes more likely we're already in the next kind of a correction. Now, we were talking about this being a potential W and X and looking at this as a Y wave. Now, it is possible because we did come down deep enough now, but the problem is there isn't good time relationship between these waves. If this is the case, I'm just on the lookout for that possibility that this could be A, this could be B, and this could be C. So what we'd be looking for effectively is a flat as a wave here. Then we'd be looking for a corrective move to the upside and then continuation in a C wave to the downside. Now this would actually look to potentially take us down towards this zone of this 29,081, which would actually be close towards this 1,236, which would be this 29K region. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. If we do start to break down from these levels, potentially we could see this C wave come down into these lower zones here, possibly looking to target out these areas before we actually look at a move to the upside. So all of these moves are looking for that potential of actually coming back down here and looking to retest some of these lower targets. Now, as long as we actually hold this 24,800, potentially what we could get here is that this whole move here could become a wave 1, this becomes a 2, and then we see a bigger break to the upside. So we're going to be looking for this. This is the primary way I'm still looking at this move, but if we lose this 24,800, then we need to just be careful, because that could actually indicate we're going to see quite a strong reversal to the downside. The way that we would be looking at that if we do actually lose that low would be that potentially what we have here is either this move here as a bigger W, X, and a Y, but you know, the Y wave, I wouldn't really be looking to move down as deep as that. If we do start to break down in that way, this is what I'm saying, we need to be careful with this 5-wave move here. If we start to break down in a bigger way here, could still be that this is our W, this is our X, and we'd have to count it into this high here though, which is very difficult to do, to be honest. But what we could actually see is that then the C wave could be looking to come down here towards this 25k region to this 23,371. So still on the lookout for that idea of this developing into a flat here. I don't really like how you would have to count this move into this high here. The only way that it would make any kind of sense is you'd have to say that, you know, you had some kind of expanding diagonals here. It wouldn't really make a lot of sense because they are quite rare. So we'll have to just keep an eye on these moves to the downside and see how they actually develop here. So back to this idea of this ABC, we could actually see this progress down here one more time. Now the key zone I'm looking for here is this 31,012 to 30,528. Any kind of 3-wave move up here, just 3 waves, could actually give us that B wave idea for this C wave to the downside. So need to be careful. We do have that bullish potential, but it needs to hold this low, needs to hold that support zone, and then it needs to see that 1.618 get hit. If we just see a move up here, potentially A, B, and C, and we even move into towards this central channel line here again, potentially this could offer us resistance, and we could look for that continuation to the downside here. Now within that area, I do also have some areas of interest here. So we have our current monthly point of control is sitting here at this 30,563. This would align with coming back up into this 50% area. So just going to be mindful that if we see a 3-wave move up into here and we get a rejection, this could be quite a strong move. As well as that, if we do see that move down, we do have our monthly value area low, which is sitting here towards this $30,000 level. So if we do see one more push down here, potentially we could look to find support and then look for that B wave up. If we are looking for some targets towards the upside here, we do also have the current weekly value area high sitting towards this 30,974 and the monthly value area high sitting here towards this 30,905 region. So that would be in between this the 702 and the 786 line. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. If we do see price push up here, potentially we could look to retest this zone before having that continuation to the downside. So now what we were also talking about is, you know, that possibility of seeing a more impulsive move to the downside. So this is something I'm just tracking. It's not my primary count, but because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into this low, what I'm just on the lookout for is that if we do face rejection here, potentially what we could see is either this move develop like we said here, where we look at this as ABC, or we could potentially even count this as from this high here, ABC. But if we do see a move that pushes down towards 28k, this would align more with the idea of having a 5-wave structure here, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, we'd get a 4th and a 5th wave to the downside. So that could potentially look to actually push us down towards this 27,755. And I would say that it's probably more likely that this move to the upside isn't completed yet. We're going to see something like this, but it is possible because we have technically come up towards this 0.382 already. So if we do see price start to fall off here and potentially not move back above these highs, we could have set up some 1s and 2s here, in which case we could start to see price progress to the downside in a 5-wave move. Now, like I said, that could just be ABC. 29k being a region that we'd be looking out for, but if we do see this 28k come in, that would mean that potentially we have a 5-wave move off this high here, and that could then mean that what we have is this is A, this is B, and then we have that 5-wave move down for a C. We come back up, look to invalidate this as a wave 1 by taking the high, and that would confirm the flat. But until we actually take that high, we need to just be careful that if we do move down in this way, that could actually mean that we have, you know, a bigger extension to the downside here, looking to break down in this way. Now, we also briefly touched on this idea where actually we could argue that our fifth wave completed into this high here, looking at this as a diagonal pattern over here. Now, it is possible that this is the case and that we're actually starting our move to the downside with this, where this becomes A, we get 3 wave up and then a C wave down. So when we get this move down, if we do see a drop down here where we get another push down for the C wave and we do move towards that 29K, I am going to be looking out for that possibility that this could be ABC. We come back up for a 3-wave move and then we look to actually move deeper into that support box, looking for potentially some of these lower targets here, like this 0.382 to this 50%, or possibly even deeper here towards this golden pocket here of this 27,139 to this 26,935. Now, the thing is, if we are looking at this as an impulse, sometimes what we'll get when we get extensions is we'll start to get shallower retracements. So potentially, you know, these lower levels might not get tapped. We'll have to keep an eye on it, see how the actual waves develop. Looking at the daily CPR, we can see that we are still above these lines. So for as long as we're above these lines, we have the potential to see price actually look to come back up and retest some of these S lines, which are sitting at this 30,634. We have this 30,901, interesting one that aligns with this center channel line. This 31,382, interesting one, looking to challenge highs. And then this area here of this 31,662 as potential targets for today. As well as that, lower down here, we do have this 29,886. This would align with that idea of having a deeper retracement here. So if we do see a move down, I will be keeping an eye on 2 levels. This lower line here, this 30,000, which would align with that idea of having this as WXY. Alternatively, lower down here, we do have this one if it does look to extend on slightly towards this 29,880. And then if we start to lose that level, then we do have this 29,417, this 29,132, and this 28,670 as possible target areas to the downside. Coming back here onto the weekly, we can see that we are still below these CPR lines here. So if we do continue to reject off these levels, potentially we could see price be gravitated to the downside here. 29,642 is that R1 line. We also do have this lower area here of this 28,680. And this zone here of this 27,866. So these could be potential downside targets if we do see price start to fall off from this area. Possibly going to be looking out for some of these zones. Now, if we do look at these, you know, lower targets here, this would potentially, you know, imply that we're actually getting that impulse. This R2 would actually probably fit into that idea. This is ABC, so I would be keeping an eye on that if we do just see that direct push down there. Now, if we do actually look to break back above these, potentially what we could see is price look to come back up here and look to challenge this S1 line again at this 31,431 level. So if we do see price come back up into this level, potentially we could look for a rejection there. That would tie into this idea of this developing here as a 5-wave move to the upside, looking to hit that target and then getting this as a C wave down from that point. Alternatively, bigger breaks to the upside during this week. We do have this 32,245 as an open target and this 33,219 as potential open targets for this. Now, on the monthly, what we can see is that we are still above these central lines. The top line here is towards this 29,687. We have this 28,905 and this 28,117. Potentially, if we do look at these options for downside coming in here, these central line here will be very interesting around that 29K region. If we do look to push down one more time, that could potentially offer us support. If, however, we start to lose these targets throughout these months, what we could actually see is this price come down towards this 26,369, which would align with coming back into this channel in that WXY pattern. If we do look for lower targets here, we do have this 22,295 and this lower one here, this 19,744. Now this R2 would align with that idea of that flat correction to the downside here. If we do, however, maintain these, then our upside targets are potentially this 33K, this 35,515, and this area here of this 39,637 as possible targets. Now, we don't have to interact with these. Sometimes we won't interact with them, but what these are is potential pivot points within the markets. If price moves up into these levels, particularly on the higher time frame pivot levels, we can see some kind of a reaction. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to break down from these points. All you can see is a small rejection, find support, come back up, find support, and then move through these levels, something like that. But it just gives us a little bit more to work with when we're doing our analysis. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.